bleed. This was back in the early 2000s, back when you still had full-flavored cereal. And it'll have this whole grain, reduced sugar crap. Y'all don't understand how good the cereal was back in the 90s and early 2000s. Y'all don't understand. It was that good. We're sitting there and we can't look at each other. We can't even look at each other knowing how exposed we were to each other. And then I say to him, I can't shake it. I said, we have to go back. He just looks at me and nods. He doesn't say a word. It was like out of a movie. He just goes. So we go and grab his dad's extra high-powered emergency flashlight, and we go back in the tunnel. We round that corner in the daytime, in the morning, like 11 o'clock in the morning. We're around the corner, and that thing that I saw, in the back of my mind, maybe I always knew it was this. It was just a bundle of branches that had been washed down by the last storm. And it had collapsed in such a way as to look like, in a certain state of mind, in a certain point of being, a monster with red eyes reaching out to grab us. See, somehow deep down I knew that that's what it was. Just like I knew that the werewolves, witches, demons, goblins, and ghosts do not exist and cannot hurt me. I knew this to be true. I knew this to be true. But then it got dark. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to go ahead and ruin something for you. There is no beast. There is no beast on the island. But then it got dark. Do you understand? Callahan, do you understand? Because I saw a confused look on your face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know these things do not exist, but then it got dark. What they know to be true has become distorted due to their circumstance. And the fear is taking place. On page 94, notice this on page 94. The assembly breaks up. I wish we're all drifting and things are going rotten. At home there was always a grown-up. Please, sir, please, miss. And then you got an answer. How I wish. I wish my auntie was here. I wish my father, oh, what's the use? Keep the fire going. The dance was over and the hunters were going back to the shelters. Grown-ups know things, said Piggy. They ain't afraid of the dark. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, children. They ain't afraid of the dark. They'd meet up and have tea and discuss, then things would be all right. Remember, if there's a problem, they would just meet and have tea and discuss things. They wouldn't set fire on the island or lose. They'd build a ship. The three boys stood in the darkness, striving unsuccessfully to convey the majesty of adult life. They wouldn't quarrel or break my specs or talk about a beast. If only they could get a message to us, cried Ralph desperately. If only they could send us something grown up, a sign or something. What is the grand irony of this statement? I wish a grown-up was here. They wouldn't quarrel or fight. They would meet and have tea and discuss things and figure it out. What is the grand irony of this? What's going on in the background of this novel? What are the adults doing in the background of this novel? What? What's going on in the background of this novel? Are the adults meeting and having tea and discussing things and working them out? No, what are they doing? Yes, they're blowing each other to hell with nuclear weapons. You see the irony here. This is Golding making a scathing accusation of the world of adults to the eyes of children. The children assume these good qualities about adults when in fact the adults are murdering each other on a massive scale in the background of this novel. A thin wail out of the darkness chilled them and set them grabbing for each other. Then the wail rose, remote and unearthly, and turned to an inarticulate gibbering. Percival Wemyss Madison, of the vicarage, Harcourt St. Anthony, lying in the long grass, was living through circumstances in which the incantation of his address was powerless to help him. And that's where we'll start today. Go ahead and kill it, Tiffany. And let me see the memory card.